the leadership of Parliament led by the Speaker of the National Assembly, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, good morning. Your Excellency, sir, this state ceremony is convened pursuant to Article 115 of the Constitution for the purpose of according presidential assent to 3 public finance-related bills originated in the National Assembly. Sir, the first bill to be presented for your assent is the Supplementary Appropriations Number 3 Bill for the financial year 2024-2025. This third set of supplementary estimates arises from expenditures incurred under Article 223 of the Constitution, which require ex post parliamentary approval. The bill also seeks to facilitate further reallocations and supplementary allocations across priority sectors. The bill supports critical interventions in key pillars of our national life. It fortifies our national security, the shield and spear against those who will imperil our sovereignty, and invests heavily in our social fabric. The proposed appropriations include appropriations towards police motor vehicle leasing program and the Inua Jamii cash transfer program. The bill also makes allocation to the education sector as part of the administration's plan to foster equitable development through sustained education reforms. Your Excellency, as the financial year 2024-2025 draws to a close on the 30th June 2025, the second bill to be presented for your assent is the Appropriations Bill 2025, National Assembly Bill number 23 of 2025. The Appropriation Bill seeks to confer legislative authority for public expenditure in the financial year 2025-2026. It is crafted to support priority development initiatives, enhance service delivery, and align resource allocation with the aspirations of the citizenry. It also reaffirms the administration's commitment to the bottom-up economic transformation agenda, sustaining momentum towards inclusive growth and equitable socio-economic advancement. Your Excellency, the third bill to receive your assent will be the Finance Bill 2025, National Assembly Bill number 19 of 2025. The bill honors your Excellency's commitment to the nation that there will be no new taxes in this financial year. The bill sets out fiscal interventions designed to enhance the business environment and reform the tax regime, making Kenya a more competitive nation to invest in. It proposes amendments to the following statutes: the Income Tax Act, the Value Added Tax Act, the Excise Duty Acts, the Tax Procedures Act, the Miscellaneous Fees and Levies Act, and the Stamp Duty Act. Your Excellency, sir, among the seminal legislative proposals carried in the bill include the prioritization of the Kenyan worker within the fiscal framework through proposed amendments to the Income Tax Act, mandating the automatic application of employee tax reliefs and exemptions. In addition, the bill proposes the exemption of gratuity payments and pension scheme allowances from taxation. Amendments under the Value Added Tax Act include exemptions on mosquito repellent inputs and the local packaging of tea, measures intended to strengthen both the manufacturing and agricultural sectors. In addressing the devastating social impact of gambling and the trauma caused to the nation's youth, the bill amends the Excise Duty Act to introduce a 5% levy on betting and gaming deposits and a 10% fee on virtual asset services. Your Excellency, with the National Assembly having dutifully discharged its legislative mandate, it is now your prerogative as head of state and government to graciously exercise the powers conferred upon you under Article 115 of the Constitution and assent to these 3 bills. With your kind permission, sir, may I now invite the Clerk of the National Assembly to present the vellum copies of the bills for your consideration and assent.
Your Excellency, I have the instructions of the Speaker of the National Assembly to present to you three sets of bills that have been passed by the National Assembly following its constitutional mandate. The first one, Your Excellency, is a supplementary appropriation number 3 bill, which is the last of the supplementary appropriations for this year. Your Excellency, this bill was introduced in the National Assembly by the distinguished member for Alego Usonga, who is also the chairperson of the Budget and Appropriations Committee. The bill is authorizing the National Treasury to make certain small drawings from the Exchequer and to regularize certain expenditures, Your Excellency, that became possible because of the emergencies that were there under Article 223 of the Constitution, Your Excellency. The net effect of it, Your Excellency, is minimal with respect to any new money. The new money is largely in our security sector, some amount of money for education sector, and some small amount of money in Supplementary 3 for Inua Jamii cash program, which is largely being regularized. There is also amount of money for Teacher Service Commission to cater for shortfall in personnel emoluments, which is about 3.3 billion. There is also regularization of 1.6 billion with respect to hosting of CHAN, and another 1.6 billion for health sector for medical supplies. About 5 billion, Your Excellency, is also being regularized with respect to police vehicles to support our security services, and some 2.5 billion for other security-related services, Your Excellency. The second statutory bill, Your Excellency, is the appropriations bill for the financial year 2025-2026. This bill, again, Your Excellency, was introduced following the approval of the estimates for the financial year 2025-2026. It was introduced by the distinguished member for Alego Usonga once again. He's the chair of the Budget and Appropriations Committee. Your Excellency, this bill largely speaks to the policies of the national government with respect to the financing of various sectors. Your Excellency, there is new money for certain sectors which wasn't there before, including, I think, 10.2 billion for agriculture value chain development projects. There is 1.5 billion for sugar sector reform. There is new injection of 8 billion for support for fertilizer subsidy. There is 4 billion for coffee debt waiver, Your Excellency. And also the health sector is amongst the biggest gainers this time. 17.3 billion, Your Excellency, is going to Global Fund for HIV, malaria, and TB. There is 13.1 billion, Your Excellency, which goes to primary health care, and 8 billion for emergency, chronic, and critical illness fund. UHC healthcare workers are going to get 6.2 billion for transfer of their functions, their payrolls to counties, Your Excellency. To fully support and authorize the Cabinet Secretary for the National Treasury to make drawings from the Consolidated Fund, we request you, Your Excellency, to also sign today the Treasury warrants to authorize the drawings with respect to the supplementary appropriation and also the main appropriations for 2025-2026. The main appropriation, Your Excellency, also grants some 4 billion to cater for internship programs for doctors, and there is 1.3 billion for the construction and equipping of cancer centers across specified counties. The education sector, Your Excellency, also gets a good share of 658.4 billion, 387 of which is going to teacher resource management including their remuneration, promotion, and recruitment of intern teachers. 58.9 billion, Your Excellency, goes to free primary and day secondary education, while 29 billion is for junior secondary school funding. The university funding, Your Excellency, gets 41.5 billion in the next financial year, while the national examinations and assessment and the school feeding program get 6 billion and 3 billion each. Your Excellency, the digital superhighway and creative economic sector have not been left behind. They have been allocated 13 billion to support the growth of the innovation and creative sectors. 217 billion, Your Excellency, has been allocated for construction, maintenance, and rehabilitation of roads in the financial year 2025-2026, while 63 billion has been allocated to support reliable power supply by our energy sector players. Following your signing, your assent of the bills, Your Excellency, and your signing of the Treasury warrants, the Cabinet Secretary for the National Treasury will, after the bills have force of law following their publication, be able to facilitate the drawing of this money from the consolidated fund. Excellency, in the next financial year, our TVETs have also been given 7.7 billion for scholarships and capitation. Your Excellency, the last bill for the day is a Finance Bill 2025, which was introduced in the House following its submission in draft form by the Cabinet Secretary for the National Treasury on 31st of April, as required by the PFM Act. It is introduced in the name of the distinguished member for Molo constituency, Your Excellency. The bill, upon being published, went through extensive public participation throughout the country. We also used modern technology this time, using apps to allow the young people this time to participate, to give their views in, with respect to this bill. In this regard, Your Excellency, the bill was considered taking into account the views of the public and passed by the National Assembly last week on 19th. The bill is proposing amendments to various laws relating to taxes, including the Income Tax, the Excise Duty Act, the Value Added Tax, the Tax Procedures Act, Miscellaneous Fees and Levies Act, and the Stamp Duty Act. There is seldom any new taxation measures being introduced, Your Excellency, other than some few areas which largely came from the National Treasury or others that came through the public participation process. One of the key winners is the general public when it comes to the incentives to promote telecommunication sector, because after public participation, the telecommunication industry asked the committee to ensure that investment allowance deduction for purchase of spectrum license or a right of fiber optic issued by a telco operator is one of the exemptions granted, and this is hoped that's going to be an incentive, and it is going to improve the telecommunication industry, Your Excellency. Allow me, Your Excellency, to resign my commission for today there.
Thank you. Thank you very much. With Your Excellency's assent, the three bills are now formally entered into the rolls of laws of the Republic of Kenya. By your signature, sir, they have acquired a full legal force and become a part of the country's body of laws. Your Excellency, as we draw this ceremony to a close, may I most graciously invite you to present a signed copy of the acts to His Excellency the Deputy President, who shares with you the heavy burden of steering the management of the nation as your principal assistant. If it pleases you, sir, you may also kindly present copies to the Solicitor General for publication into law and to the Cabinet Secretary for the National Treasury for implementation. As a symbolic reaffirmation of the